It all began when a news article reported that Maine had the highest death rate of children, while in the state's care. How could this be? Concerned citizens, led by former legislator Bill Diamond, began a journey to find out.
I could tell you story after story for hours. Heartbreaking stories.
He encouraged anyone who would listen to walk a mile in the shoes of those most affected by Maine's broken child welfare system, to discover the roots of this terrible problem. From victims' families and foster parents, to social workers and law enforcement, he learned where the Maine DHHS had failed the state's children. From these perspectives, a grassroots swell of support began.
The common denominator in all of the cases is management.
It's devastating to see children abused, let alone killed, as a result of, individuals, cowards, in my mind.
I felt burnt out even just after 8 months. And it was because of the long hours. It was because of how I was treated by supervisors. It fulfilled and exceeded every fear that I had, and which is why I only lasted a year and a half. They've had the same practices and the same management for over 20 years that isn't working. And removing management is the only option that they have not taken.
I heard a lot of heartbreaking stories when we traveled and spoke with foster parents. We had a placement. This child came to us at about 8 years old, taken from the mother, didn't have any contact with the father, there was a DV, domestic violence history with dad. I think we had maybe 4 months the first time. She was in a special behavior program, a little wild and kind of off the wall, but very well otherwise. By the end of the school year, she was doing really well. It was kind of a game changer moment at the last minute. Dad wanted to take custody and they didn't have any reason not to. Even though he had domestic violence, that was not perpetrated on the child, so that's where she went. And 2 years later, we got her back, and she was she wasn't the same kid when she came back. Her face was all bruised. She had been hit so hard that she couldn't talk right. Her mouth drooped, and she didn't sound like a regular kid.
We all need to work together. One death is unacceptable. The amount of deaths we've had, completely unacceptable.
Foster parents need to be heard, and we're not heard, and we haven't been for years. We have defined in great detail the problems in our report based on boots on the ground. Foster parents, caseworkers, social workers, medical professionals, law enforcement. We've all brainstormed things that could help the system. Now we just need the system to want our help.
The report I am incredibly proud of, and I am incredibly inspired that this information is starting to get out. I hope that this is sort of the catalyst to continue to make some change and help people to not fear retaliation and be able to come out and speak their truth to make the changes that are necessary to stop these child deaths. These are absolutely preventable.
We're going to take this report, go out and explain to the public the evidence that we have here. We need everyone to insist that change happens. That will make a difference.
We all have a part in stopping child abuse.
We need to be the voice of these kids. As hard as it is to have lost Maddox, I hope his death wasn't in vain.